just like, oh my god. It's really fun. We get.
Ready? Let's do this.
Yeah, baby.
Start. All right. Welcome to 42. Two Souls, One Journey. A raw and unedited look into our lives as humans, based on the 21 grams experiment by Dr. Duncan MacDougall, who concluded that the human soul weighs 21 grams. In this video cast, we will explore that no matter what our lives look like on paper, our souls journey similarly. In this episode, we're speaking with the creator of all things juicy. Things like the artist morning, soft man, heartshots. He is the ever-evolving photographer, meditation guru, connection nerd, the one, the only, Darius Bashar!
What an intro.
The
Thank
universe
you.
is saying that.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm so excited about this because normally I'll do research and I'll prep about who I'm going to interview. But I was like, I'm going to go on this date with this guy. I'm going to pretend like I know a lot about you, but I feel like I'm just going to be like, we're just going to have a one-on-one date. We're going to sit here, have a coffee for 40 minutes and figure things out. I mean, to the point where like I even sculpted my brows. And like I said earlier, I wore a low V connector and I did push-ups because I was like, bitch needs to look fresh for this.
Yes, push-ups and low V. And nobody knows where that V ends. This is the best.
This pair of scissors is just going to keep it. It's like the J-Lo dress that like is going to ever evolve.
Amazing. Should have done push-ups. I knew it.
Dude, you combed your beard. You made this look super fresh.
You know, I've got a thick head of hair. It's just migrated from the top of my head to the bottom of my head. And so, you know, I gotta keep it looking nice.
I mean, join the club. I feel like I have this great lesser set of hair that disappeared.
Yeah, it hasn't disappeared, just migrated.
Well, I think mine ended up in my wig closet with a bunch of wigs.
So is that true that a soul weighs 21 grams?
According to this theory, you know,
I feel like my soul is way heavier.
No idea. I mean, I think
yeah, that's cool. 21 gram soul. Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, there's something about also food and 21 grams. I know there's a TV show called 21 Grams that talks about traveling around the world, and there's a food equivalent to that as well. So, I mean, I'm going to run with this theory because it works for my podcast and my life. And the fact that I think our souls are similar. Like, as I travel as a human body into this world, I'm like, oh, our souls are very similar. No matter who we are physically on the outside, our insides or our souls are doing the same journey. We need to connect with each other to understand them and to be a part of it.
Yeah, I vibe with that. I feel like sometimes there's just one soul with many different manifestations.
So what does a big soul weigh then? Like if we're all 21 grams?
Infinity.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, I kind of use soul interchangeably with God. It's the same thing. And so your soul, my soul, it's the way I see it is like this weird, like, so this is you, this is me, this is someone else, but we all come back into soul, aka God, aka infinite source, whatever you want to call it. And the trick of it is our human eyes see you and me different.
Right.
Yeah, but it's an illusion.
Yeah, 100%.
At least that's what I think, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like, so I mean, I met Darius through the Artist Morning, which my sister Farah, who's been on this podcast, who I talk about all the time, who is my soul human. Like, I could be in Winnipeg feeling something, and she'll be like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What happened? How do you know?" And we never like this is an evolution of our relationship. I think that we're finally at the same soul level. And anytime Farah suggests something, I'm like, I have to do it because she gets it. And she introduced me to Artist Morning and Darius, which I have to say in the last couple of months has changed my life. Like getting up at Artist Morning, getting up at Artist Morning and meditating with you guys, with this amazing collective of humans, and then journaling. I feel like any ideas I've had over the last 20 years of my life, one of them will come to me during our meditation. And by the end of those 15 minutes, I have a plan and I know exactly what I need to do for the rest of the, like how to execute it to the end.
How cool.
Never failed me.
Wow. So
Yeah.
what do you think is happening?
What do I think is happening? Great question. I think what the space is allowed for is a moment to tap into my creative higher power and listen to it for that 15 minutes. So the meditation allows me to slow everything down, focus, and then whatever shows up, I journal out the answer right there. Like the information has been channeled through me. Like I'm
Yeah.
just a vessel of
Yeah.
whatever this outcome is, and for me, it gets channeled that day.
I think that's another one of the fallacies of the human experience. It's like when you want more, when you're eager and hungry for more and you want to move forward,
Right.
sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to go slower and get still.
Yeah, hundred
But it's
percent.
so hard, right? We wake up, we're like, I got all these dreams, I've got all these goals, I got to just get up, I got to start doing things, I got to get on my laptop, I got to start. And you're like, take a breath, have
Right.
faith, and just slow down. For me, it's like I have a very like non-negotiable meditation practice. Like I meditate before I meditate with you guys in the morning, and now I've started meditating in the evening as well. And for me, it's like, of course I'm going to do that. It's like having a one-on-one with God. It's like hiring God to be my a business advisor, my therapist, my creative director. Like nobody knows better than God, than universe, than whatever you want to call it. And so of course I'm gonna skip my early morning meeting or reschedule it to hang with God.
Right.
you know and once you do this enough, and like I can track back revenue and profit to silence and stillness.
Right.
The best ideas I've ever had, the best relationship advice, the most healing therapeutic experiences happen in that stillness. And still to this day, the first few minutes, there's so much resistance. And there's like, I don't want to do this. This isn't going to work. There's one part of me, just one part that's still resistant. And I just love that part. I'm like, I got it. I get it. I see you. I love you. We're going to stay here.
Right.
Yeah. But still, that resistant part, it's like, maybe he's just going to be there forever. And that's okay.
Do you think he was like, we live in such a capitalist world that money drives so many things for us. So to settle, like we've been taught to go 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 go. Specifically as an artist, right? You're taught like this weird concept of like starving artists. So we always have to work really hard, but we don't get any rewards of it. And so our minds and bodies for X amount of years prior to now have been like, we have to go 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 go. The more we go, the faster we go. The more we create, the more we'll be successful. When really, in my experience, the more I start slowing down, the more I'm focused, the more I know exactly where I want to go and what I want to do. My financial rewards are so much higher as well as a business person. I'm like, oh, great. And that the 1% that's talking to me is my rebellious side that's like, don't fucking bitch, don't tell me what to do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm an artist. I'm supposed to be anarchisty, and I've been feeding you for 40 years of my life. Of course, you're going to be the strongest voice. And now I have to be like, let's just take a back seat for a second. Yet this bitch doesn't know how to take a back seat. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really interesting topic. I have dove deep into the many parts of me, and like my the beginnings of my spiritual like awakening was a breakdown. I was just like, it started with my aunt getting cancer, and for the first time in my life, me having to think like everybody, like a 5-year-old knows that people die, but that was the first time in my life that I was like, this is like my second mom, and there's literally a last breath that she will take, you know? And that I felt that in my body. And I'm like, whoa, there's a last breath looking for each and every one of us. And then I became like obsessed with that. and I implemented into my meditation, into my mornings without really knowing what it was. I just wanted to feel what a last breath would feel like for some reason. I wanted to take a couple of deep breaths and just like, and just hold and hold and hold and hold. Yeah, I needed to feel it in my body. It was like really, and then I started thinking about, if this was my last breath, am I smiling when I take my last breath? And for me, something about smiling meant I had taken all the pictures, I had said all the words, I had kissed all the lips, I had just expressed myself fully. And so that like put a fire under my butt to no, I haven't done those things. I need to. I felt like someone was going to come take my camera away, take my computer away, and be like, that's it. There's no more words for you, no more pictures for you.
Right.
And so I went on this meditative spiritual journey where parts of me would have experiences that you could call like triggered, like really triggered emotional experiences. And something about the journaling that would be like, I don't know what inspired me to do this, but I would just like sit there and write, like I feel XYZ. I feel mad. I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel frustrated. I'm so pissed. And then it was like a collective of Dariuses at different ages, like an 8-year-old Darius, a 15-year-old Darius, a photographer Darius, a dad Darius, a higher self Darius. They'd all like surround this one version that's having a triggered experience. And they would just all collectively just be like, we see you. We have no desire to fix you. You don't need fixing. We have no desire to judge you. Take all the time you want, and we're just going to be here holding the space. Right?
Ooh.
Yeah. And so then when that happened with sincerity, it wasn't just like check the things off. We see you. We have no desires. Like sincerely,
Yeah.
that part would exert. I feel this. I feel this. I feel this. And then there's a moment where it would go,
Right.
wow, you actually listened to me for once. Thank you. And then that part would integrate into the cosmic family of Darius's, and we'd be stronger together, And so when I have parts that are resistant, I used to ignore them and be like, shut the fuck up, get away, like go to jail, like you're die. And now I'm like, I love you. I see you. You're trying to protect me. You're doing the best you can. Something happened to me when I was younger at some point, and then you had to come in to defend me.
Right.
Papa D is here. Higher self D is here. I got it now. Thank you.
Like, I've heard about, and I've worked on the inner child, such a big part of like my journey and getting here. But the way you framed it is this like, I think for me specifically, I put so much power in the women around my life who are the ones that hold me and put me together. But my yearning has always been like, where is that male figure of mine in my life? And as I get older and the more I relate to my dad, I'm like, oh, he literally was just another human being, another soul doing the best he could in the spots that he was doing. So where I felt abandoned, where I felt all these things, it wasn't a personal attack at me. It was this soul trying to figure out the best he could with his knowledge. You just brought it back to we're the best soul. Like, here's different levels of Darius at different ages, doing the best he can. And you're like, we're here. We're here to hold your hand. We're not fixing anything. We're here for you when you're ready to connect, or when you're done learning this lesson or this moment. Darius, like, shut the fuck up. Like, I have to go back and do a lot of rescheduling in my life. Because I feel like my soul's been trying to figure that out, and knowing that the answer, it's me at the end. And at the end of the day, it's me no matter what, because these other humans are they're just doing the best they can. Their soul's trying to figure it out, and we're lucky because we're a little higher evolved than them, because we've been given another opportunity that they weren't given.
Maybe because of the work they did.
Boom! Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's like, for me, it's always from a place of respect of like, yo, I'm here because of you. You must be tired. Yes. You've been defending and protecting this whole time. Thank you. I see you. It's like, it's just the same nonviolent, empathetic communication that works in these type of relationships, right? But for some reason, it's so much easier for us to dismiss ourselves and be critical of ourselves and put ourselves down and not celebrate ourselves. And so there's something about this cosmic family framework where like I see an 8-year-old D, I see a photographer D, and it's like it's hard for so many of us to celebrate ourselves. But like sometimes I have these 3 monitors here you can't see, and they randomly have a collection of like 2,000 of my photos that come up, and there's like they'll just every 2 minutes change, and a photo will come up, and they'll be like a few seconds before my brain clocks that it's my photo, and I'm just like, wow, it's so beautiful. I'm like, oh, it's me. And then I'll be like, oh, you can't speak like that about your own work. I'm like, it's not my work. It's photographer D.
Right.
He's amazing. Wow. Thank you. And it's for whatever reason, it's like this weird hack where we can celebrate ourselves when it's personified outside of ourselves.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm okay just celebrating myself too. That's nice as well. But yeah, like I'll be honest with you, this is also my secret weapon when it comes to photography. It's like the kid from Sixth Sense who sees dead people.
Right. Yeah. I love that guy. I wasn't
I
talking
hope we
about
just
that
didn't give it away. Like, if you haven't watched Sixth Sense, it's 2021. Like, that's your own fault.
guy. Let's pause, go watch the movie, come back.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like because I embody this, my cosmic family members are just always hanging out. So it's like when you come to the studio for a photo shoot, you come, I come, and then your part starts seeing that, like, yo, Darius's 8-year-old is just playing, and his teenagers over there, and then your parts are like, I think this is safe for us to play here. And these hidden parts that maybe want nothing to do with the photo shoot experience, all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's safe for us. We can play, we can express. There's other little older, medium-sized versions like us.
Right. That is magical. I feel like creating safe spaces for all our ages is such an important part, and safety is like, I feel like it's part of Maslow's law of hierarchy. This is the base level of anything, and in my journey of addiction and that kind of stuff, and the base is people just want to be safe. They want to feel safe. They want to, when you feel threatened. I mean, we come from instinctive places where the moment we feel threatened, we want to go to a safety place, and we want to. It's our baseline. And whether it looks different for everybody, but we want to feel safe. And as an artist, to create that space for somebody and to have fun.
Yes.
Come on, like let's have some fun. Let's stop being serious about things and enjoy it. That's a gift given to us. That we should.
It's, for me, it's integral. It's like joy is so fundamental to the human experience.
Right.
It gets dismissed because it's like, joy, no, we gotta be serious. We gotta be studying. We gotta be sacred. Yes, yes, yes. And
Yes.
joy. Yeah. And joy is very different to me than happiness.
Yes.
Happiness for me feels like a more sophisticated, complex version of joy that's intellectualized. I need XYZ to be happy, whereas joy is just like, just like it just shoots up, it pops up, and like it doesn't need any explanation. It's just random. We were talking about this before. I know there's people who apparently have spontaneous orgasms. Something over the last month has me walking around having like spontaneous joygasms where like I'll just see something like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's like I feel sometimes like there's a garden and I imagine like just raking the garden. And it's like the more I'm tending to this garden with this momentum of excitement and joy, the more the chances that this garden are gonna yield beautiful, joyful plants. And it's like constantly like, yes, more. And that for me, it's like when I see people doing amazing things, I just, yes, amazing. Like it's like raking in, sharing the goodness and the joy. And it's like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an answer for like I was gonna give a reason why not, but I'm like I'm not going to. Like you're right. This is it. People figure out what your joy is, and let's just move forward with it. Because I feel like when you're doing the stuff, when you're joyfully doing something and when you're not joyfully something because the universe gives you a response. The
Yeah.
results show it. Yeah.
And I want to say I have so much space and capacity for experiences that are not joy.
Right.
I think they're wonderful because from being in the artist morning, like all of us are artists. We are all creating our lives.
Right.
And I want access to as many colors of paints as possible. And rage is a color, and hatred is a color, and love and joy. I want access to them. And then I want to decide which ones I paint with. And sometimes I want to paint with some rage.
Yeah. Because like yesterday in the world, rage is needed. Like when when stuff happens, rage like it's a response. It's a response system that we should just love as much as our love response system. Right? It's
Yeah.
something that's needed in the world because there has to be a balance that has to happen.
Yeah. It's a really interesting topic because I have no idea when this is going to come out, but yesterday was like a historic moment in human civilization where, the capital of United States was stormed and taken over by rioters. Um, there's so many feelings and thoughts I have about that, but one thing that's coming up for me is like that energy
Mm,
exists.
yes.
And it's like if you have an illness or a cancer, I don't want it hidden deep inside me. You actually are like, let it metastasize, let me see it, let me understand that it's there as opposed to it hiding in the shadows. Ideally, we would want it not to be there. But if it's there, I want to be aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
My best friend Faiz's husband is a black man from the south of America, from the southern areas of America, from Georgia. And one thing he said to me that always I'd rather that really rings true for me is that I'd rather know the devil I'm dealing with than this fake. Like, show me who you are because then I know exactly what our cards are and how to proceed forward.
Yeah.
I get to choose to proceed in love or not, but show me your cards because when you hide your cards, I got nothing. Like we're not honest with each other at that point. So
Yeah.
even as a stranger, because he moved to Canada to be with his wife and his kids, and he was saying, in America, I can run into a white man, and I know that guy hates me, and he's not. There's no ifs ands and buts about it. In Toronto, I could be working with somebody who's like, oh my god, you're great, you're amazing, because we're so politically correct, but behind my back, he belongs to the KKK and is plotting to kill me. Like for him, like it's such a. I was like, oh, I don't even think like I'm lucky I come from a space I don't even think about that kind of stuff. But for him to bring it up,
Yeah.
I was like, you are correct. Like, I would rather know who you are. And then I can choose to follow you and be like, no, this guy's really good. I'm going to find out what your goodness is.
Yeah.
That's me. That's on me then, not on you.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, shit exists out there. Show us your true colors and let us decide as a collective or as individuals how we want to go about it.
Yeah.
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 All right. So Darius is a child. So tell us about
You keep
Darius.
talking. I'm gonna put my lips on
Yeah.
since you've got your deep V. I got to get set up for this
Yeah.
first date vibe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so
Oh, okay.
hot.
Keep
Don't go on a
talking. Keep talking.
second
Keep
date.
talking.
Right,
Darius is a child.
right.
No, Darius is a child. Did not
Yeah,
have a beard that he
no.
combs.
So was Darius born in Toronto? Where does Darius come from? Tell us about.
Darius was born in Tehran, Iran. Darius's parents very quickly realized this is not going to be the place to raise him because I was born very close to the Islamic Revolution, and long story, but there was a death in the family in relation to all that stuff. And so my mom was like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. And we made our way to like Italy or Europe or something, and then Montreal, and then Toronto.
Nice. And does Darius have any siblings? Are you an only child?
I am both.
That's my answer to everybody.
Really?
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm an only child. And they're like, what about four and see? Like, I'm like, oh, I'm one of four, but I behave like an only child in and out of my
Amazing.
family. Yeah.
Amazing. I would so like I think most people would say you are legally a child, I think, till you're 18 or 21, depending on who you ask. So my dad had another kid and then another one after that after I was 21. So I technically grew up as an only child, but
Oh,
I also have siblings.
and you're like the eldest, like so you're like an only child, but also the oldest brother of two other
Yeah,
siblings, technically. Oh,
much older. Yeah. Yeah. Which is good. It keeps me fresh. It keeps me fresh.
yeah. And I mean, to have a 21-year gap is great because there's something about young souls in human body that are really keep you on your toes.
You
Um,
got to meet my sister Melika. She keeps you on your toes.
Her name is Malika, which is my
Yeah.
drag name. Just FYI.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Farah is 13 years younger than I am, and that bitch keeps me on my toes. Like there's no tomorrow. And accountability, like,
I love her, by the way. She's so great. Every conversation I ever have with her is just like,
right, yeah. She's the best human. This is one of the best humans I know. And I'm just like, until recently, I was like, you're my little sister, shut the fuck up. And now I'm like, preach, let me know what I
yes,
need to know in
yes, I
life.
love that.
Okay, so favorite color.
I'm gonna go with blue.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
favorite food.
these are really hard because like I'm so spectrum based. I'm gonna go with some ghormeh sabzi.
Oh, gonna sabzi is
You know
delish.
ghormeh sabzi?
Yeah. So
Oh shit!
one of my favorite aunts is married to an Iranian man. So so every time I go to their house in Boston, he cooks up a meal like,
I love that he cooks the ghormeh
oh,
sabzi.
yeah, yeah. My soul. I'm like, one, I think he's the funniest human. Like, he's so funny. He's got this dry sense of humor, ridiculously smart. Something about Iranian people, like, you guys are artistic. There's an intelligence and an arts balance that is so prominent across the culture. Like, you'll be like, I'm a doctor, but we're gonna drop a gem and sing it out. And
That's
then
because that's because Rumi, man. Rumi is
um,
our dude. So there's like a poetic like thread that's in all
yes.
Persian people. And then the education piece is, I don't know, I just thought it was because our moms were really strict and then so I think we all have a really strict mom that also loves poetry.
Right. I want to, yeah, we'll dive into that some other time. But yeah, I also, your weddings are phenomenal. Like, so there's a smiley person. Our weddings are very like, they're boring. They're boring. I've been to so many, and they're just paper based. I went to a friend of mine who married my friend Hafiz married Azin Jan, and they did a mixed wedding. Dude, from the get go, there was like, ah! Like we started dancing as the bride walked in, and I was like, this would never happen. But I was like, this is how it should happen. Like people were.
Did you do the knife dance? The cake knife dance?
I don't think I did. I feel like there's in that moment of my life, I was just a little like I was too extroverted, but I was too shy and too self conscious about being too gay in a space that I wasn't comfortable with. Even though the people there were like my people, I was like, I don't know any of these guests. Which now in hindsight, I'm like so dumb because I should have just like my cousin, whose dad's Iranian. Both of their kids just got married in the last few years, and I went to Boston for the wedding. I was like the most flamboyant person there, and I was like, oh my god, like they love it. All the aunts like, come on, let's do the dance. And I was like, ah! I was like my life just had a journey at that point. Like I had to wait to get there. But I wish I had seen Hafiz's wedding. I would have been like, let's go, teach me a dance. What's next? Like the knife dance would have been amazing.
It
Tell us
is
about it.
amazing. And it's a dance where we are like, it's like almost like a knife fight, but it's like, okay, you're gonna dance. It's like you're trying to give the person the knife, but they're like, no, you can't have it. And in exchange for the knife, the groom gives them money.
Ah,
Yeah, which is amazing, but then they never give him the knife until the very end if they're really lucky. But it's like this very weird exchange of a dance with a knife for money, which is also amazing to watch. And I participated in my first one a few years ago, and it was very stressful because everyone's watching you dance with a knife, but it was great.
So is that so in this Mali tradition, or in this South Asian tradition, the bride side will hold on to something of the groom and will keep taunting the groom until the groom gives enough money as a way of dowrying for
Similar.
the bride. Similar idea. Okay.
Yeah. We just throw a knife in there.
Yeah, perfect. Like it sounds very Genghis Khan-ish, which sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
We're conquerors. We must like have this knife to like.
Yeah.
Also, the Azerbaijani tradition has a very like men knife dance, like like all the men stand like this, and it's a very I mean, I guess
Intimidating like vibe.
no. There's not. It looks visually intimidating, but there's always like gentle souls doing this dance because it's all about happiness and love. But they look like they're really because of the body posture, and you have to in dance, right? Like it's a very statuesque, and it's a full man dance, like men only, and something really magical about like protection, wall building. I don't know. I have to figure this out. I have to do some more research on it. But it was to see it visually. I was like, this is taking the Turkish twirl to a different level.
Nice.
And you're barred with like 12 men doing like a Russian style, like a lot of legs kicking and stuff.
I gotta see one of these, man.
Yeah. Well, it's my goal this year to like try to explore more dance of different cultures and sort of see again this whole idea that if we're all the souls just journeying, we're 1,000,000% have a million things in common.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna have to come out somewhere. Speaking about men and like exteriors craziness, but soft. So soft men, like tell us about soft men. I like the moment I read about it, I was like, this is phenomenal because there's so many iterations of what men are supposed to be like. And we get the notion gets challenged in so many ways when you're a dad, when you're like, I've seen my dude friends from like North York, Georges Henry, who were like people I would hate or be scared of, but they were still my friends. Then they become parents, and I'm like, you're a different human, but you aren't a different human. You just have a chance to show a different side of you.
Mm-hmm.
So your Soft Men project, let's tell us a little bit about that. How did that come about?
Meditation.
Of course.
Yeah. So it actually started in a dream, and I saw this vision in this dream, and it kind of scared me because I'm like, what is this, like black and white photos of naked men, and it's like a book, and what and then one of the first things I do in the morning is meditate. And when I dropped into my meditation, that dream that was like low res movie became like a high def, like I saw it, and I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, this is really cool. I haven't seen anything like this, and I feel like really aligned and connected with it. And normally at that point, my process would be, this is an amazing idea. Or this is a crazy idea. I don't want people to make fun of me. I'll develop it on my own for a while, and then come back to it when it's ready. Or I don't want someone to steal it, so I'll develop it on my own and come back to it when it's ready. Every time I've done that, I'd never come back.
Right.
The momentum's lost. So I thought I'd do something different. And after my meditation, I opened up my computer and I wrote a post just sharing like, this is what I saw. I had a dream about naked men. I'm taking these photos. They're beautiful black and white photos that show an expansive definition of man. Like we're always taught that men need to be rigid and strong and tough. And for me, it's like, and not a replacement, tender and vulnerable and silly and light. And and it wasn't a single thing that made a man soft. Like for me, really what it was is softening the exterior around your heart to let whatever has been trapped in there come out. So one particular man, for example, his story was more along the lines of like he's always been told he's soft, or like he's not like necessarily the loudest, most extroverted person, genius, beautiful human being. And for him, the softening of the exterior allowed him actually to access like power and strength and rage energy that was like needed to be exerted. So some people think it's like soft men, it's just like men crying or men being, like it's everything actually. It's just the softening of that wall to let what's true come out. And yeah, the craziest thing is when I put that post up, I think I got like a couple hundred like comments and views, including like a publisher who reached out and was like, "This is awesome. Let me help you make it." And so that broke some neural pathway in my head that was like, you know, people will steal the idea. People will laugh at the idea. Sit, and it's like, no,
Mm,
express, share, release, let it continue to expand out. Don't wait for ready. Don't worry about competition. Forget those things. And it's been a journey. It's been such a journey, like documenting these amazing spectrum of men and getting to know them, many of which actually were in that book club I was telling you about before.
of course.
Uh, yeah, because I was
Yeah.
like, these are the guys I want to do a book club with because they're so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like whoever's listening to this, Artist Morning, like those men exist in Artist Morning. I don't even have to talk to them, but I can feel them. And, in the way you speak about, like they show up, you can see them showing up. And I know
Did you
for
know
me,
Ben is one of them?
of course he is.
Okay,
Like,
okay,
it's
just
not
checking,
even
just checking.
like,
Just check.
one of the Fridays I ended up with Ben on our one-on-ones, and I was like, dude, I've been waiting for this to happen because there's enough, I kiss myself all the time because of Ben.
Yes,
Like, I'm
that's such
like,
a Ben move doing that. I
oh,
love it.
and I'm like, oh, I was like, damn, I like this. Like, no one kisses me like I kiss myself.
Yes.
And it's because of Ben, right? So like these men exist. They exist. They show up in Artist Morning. I don't even have to. I feel like I don't have to. Like I have to just see them on a screen. And I'm like, oh yes, here you are. Like welcome to the team.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to that group because it's there. When did like when did Darius get to a point to show his heart? Because I'll use my like as an immigrant who comes from a different country into Toronto, battles and steals. Like we're North York boys.
Yeah.
There's something about like you're at home you're allowed to show this, but then in public you're not allowed to show this. And then you're an artist. Like it's hard as an artist to not show your soft side because it's what you want other people to show when you're creating.
Yeah.
Tell me where in your journey that changed for you. My assumption is that you had a hard and a soft before. Tell us
A
about that.
hard and a hardened.
Like a hard exterior.
Yeah, yeah. Um it's been like a continual process. And it like sort of and it's been decades, right? It's like we actually start with open hearts,
Yes.
and then we're just so excited and innocent and pure and everything is possible. And then something happens or something doesn't happen
Mm-hmm.
and we go, and then we have a goal that we're 100% sure we're going to achieve and we don't, and we feel foolish and we feel incompetent. And so we have to defend ourselves. I'm like, never again will I be that sure. Never again will I take that much of a chance. Never again will I claim to the world what I really want, because that fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And I feel like my journey to now in my life, like very, 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 very recently, it took me like 20 years to heal that from my early 20s of like, I'm back to the place where I can claim what I want and just be like, it's okay if you think it's crazy. It's okay if you're afraid. It's okay if you can't see my vision. It's okay if you don't believe in me. Most of the time, that's more because of your own stuff and your own projections. I believe in me.
Mm,
And this is where the strongest love exists. I don't need to chase other people's love. I can respect you. I could be like, cool, you don't get it. You don't see it. Of course, you don't see it. It's my vision. And so I've been, like, in the last 2 decades, I don't think I've ever felt this open and this much love and belief in myself.
Right.
And it's taken me a long time. I went from like super expansive, things didn't work out, super hidden, but like a shadowy artist that's like always near arts and creations, but never really taking a chance, always playing it safe, always apologizing, even if I'm not saying sorry. It's like my presence was an apology,
Right.
you know, to I love me. I believe in me. No matter what happens, my life is a gift. And why not try to live the fullest, greatest life I can?
That, like, the inner artist in me fully recognizes that. I'm like, oh my God, it's so. So I'm gonna. The Oprah question is, what would you tell the younger Darius that would be self-doubting about where they are and who they are?
It's a good question. I would say, in the end, we all get a standing ovation. So you got this. You're always protected. You're always guided. It's always happening for you, not to you.
What a magical way to end that part. Like, you're right. In theater, they say there's no small parts. You're right. And at the end of the day, that's standing ovations for everybody on stage. And to quote Shakespeare, as cheesy as this is, all the world is a stage, and we're just merely players in it. Oh, that is.
That did not sound cheesy to me at all. I've heard that 20 times. That's exact. Like, I love cliches.
Yeah.
I love cliches. Yeah. I used to hate them because all the cool kids were like, obviously, I've heard that before. And it's like, yeah, there's a reason.
But hearing and living it, though, there's something about, like, I've heard this before, but like when it penetrates into your soul and you're like, duh, it changes. I don't know. For me, it changes everything. Well, now I'm like, oh, it's not just a word anymore. I have felt it in the gut of my soul, and it rings true.
Yeah. I always say it's just like a giant amusement park. And it's like we're forgetting to look up and be like, this is amazing. I want to be on these rides. What's the best part of a roller coaster? It's not the end where you get off. It's the part where you're like not sure if you're going to live. You know?
At
That's
the
the
very
truth.
top, where you're like,
Yeah, you're like,
fuck.
yeah. But like if you didn't have that, you know how boring that thing must be? Everyone's trying to get to the end of the roller coaster being like, wait, this is the end. Now I'm gonna go walk over to another ride, wait in line just to have that thrill again.
Right.
So it's like the thrill is the part where you're not exactly sure if you're gonna make it.
Oh, it's so true. I'm literally afraid of heights, and I feel like I love roller coasters because I love to get to the very top and be like, oh, this is what the world looks like before my heart sinks to the bottom of my feet. But like, it's that moment where I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then like, you just embrace yourself for the next 30 seconds because that's all it really takes.
I am terrified of heights, but I love doing those type of things.
Me
Yeah.
too. All right. So to wrap up, I'm going to throw one word at you, and you throw one word back at me that relates to it. Ready?
Yeah, but like an 8-year-old D or like 12-year-old D is just like, dude, I got this. Ready? Penis.
Yeah,
Penis. Penis. Penis.
Funny, the first word is penis. How did you know that?
Is the first word really penis?
No.
Okay.
All right, ready? It's pleasure.
I'm gonna get 12-year-old D. Just thank you. That was a great contribution. Just I'm gonna handle this one. Okay, thank you.
But if it wants to come in at any point, I'm gonna hear it. All right. Pleasure.
Penis.
Art.
Yes.
Art.
Yes.
Oh, love.
Always.
Connections.
Yes, please.
Energy.
Everywhere.
Freedom.
In my heart.
Choice.
make,
light,
heart.
expansion. I mean, I can't think of a better way to end this first date. This is amazing. The 12-year-old in me is not going to be singing penis, penis all day.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody out there who took time out of their busy schedule to connect with us. You get a second, guys, just go Google Darius Bashar. Darius Bashar. And just like, it sounds so pretentious, but Google the bitch. Like, you need to know about him. I will definitely put links somewhere in this. And come to Artist Morning, because all my artist friends out there, wherever you are on your journey, just come check it out. It is life-changing. We'll see you.
Come meditate with us.
Yeah, come meditate with us. See you bitches next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, everybody. Penis.